Howdy, y'all, and welcome to week 11 of Elementally Intuitive Movement 101 on coffee, as we are expanding into our spheres with level 2 and continuing to think about our spheres of awareness, our spheres of attention or perception. It's kind of a windy day. Hopefully that won't be too bothersome. Hopefully we'll enjoy the breeze. I'm going to be in the light and the dark at the same time, but you can see me anyhow and you can hear me. And at this point, really, you know what we're doing, right? Because we've been doing the same 6 levels over and over again. So we had our O's and our 1s, and now 2. Stationary spheres. We're still stationary spheres. They're stationary bases anyhow. So we expand out, and we can contract in and expand out. We can throw in O hands. And so how we use our hands, that's a sphere of awareness. Whether we're choosing to be open and contract out, expand out, or contract in and hold ourselves, coming back to center, expanding out again. And how it feels to alternate between the expanding out, the contracting in. So when we expand out, gravity is having more of an effect on our bodies because our arms are levers. And the further out that they are, the more that they're going to be affected by the force of gravity pulling down, gravitate towards the earth. That's what it is. So the closer that things are to our body, the more that we're like a pin, and the less that now the force is more focused on the whole body going through into our feet. Once we put our arms out, now we're changing how force is affecting our bodies as we move through space. So that's part of what we're thinking about. That's one of the spheres of awareness, of attention that we're paying attention to, is how it feels as we shift between contraction and expansion, as we maintain our feet in the alignment that best supports our knees, so that we're distributing that ground reaction force, remembering to hinge at the hip, remembering to support our centers, hold ourselves upright, remembering to breathe, inhaling through our nostrils as slowly as we can, but comfortably. As we continue moving all those spheres of attention that we're juggling. So as we're doing this, we're giving our bodies more to adapt to need to have to practice adapting to as we shift from expansion and contraction. And shift our base, explore from a different position. How does it feel? While maintaining all of those levels of awareness, so supporting our bodies biomechanically according to how they move, and then also according to our particular bodies and how it feels for us and what's preferable and not preferable. It's fun now to really explore those different planes that we first started exploring as we had our hands connected when our O. We got to get familiar with our horizontal, vertical, diagonal planes. Now we get to really explore them with our arms free as we expand into our spheres and explore all that is within the reach of the tips of our hands. So this is our near sphere. Now this is our further sphere, our expanded sphere. And the more that we practice now, we're now exploring new maps of movement. Before, the maps were kept in. It gave us a sense, though, of how to move through space as we had, and we get a sense of where we are in space. Now we can apply what we got in level 1 and level O to 2. And thinking about how they support each other, how each level supports each other, that's another sphere of awareness, that's another sphere of attention. By the time we get to level 2, our movement's much more dynamic. Our bodies have to adapt to these movements of our arms, and it's still all intuitive movement. It's still all improvised motion. So we have a sense of what we're doing, but not really. We're just exploring our spheres, as we've been doing with every level, exploring our spheres. Laying down new maps of motion and refining the maps of motion that we've already established. Remember, you don't have to do what I'm doing. The way that I move is the way that I like to move, the way that my body prefers to move. Perhaps the way that you move is going to look similar to how I move, because we are following biomechanical designs of our bodies, and we move through this same shared space, that the same laws of physics apply to us all. So since we are moving through this shared space within the same parameters of the laws of physics, indeed, there's going to be some things that look similar sometimes, and some things that we can emulate and that we can do, and others not as much, because we're each unique people. It's great to get to explore and learn and figure out what works best for you. Sometimes that's observing others and seeing what works for them and what doesn't work, and recognizing, taking their mistakes and recognizing and seeing like, oh, I see, they failed to do that and the result was that, therefore I won't fail to do that. So that way I help support my vessel to observing, and that's observational learning paired with experiential learning. The more we practice learning through observation, the more we save ourselves through having to go through that same particular mistake. Because as vessels navigating through life, mistakes will be made. But may all of our mistakes be new mistakes. And may we learn from the mistakes that came before, so that we don't make those same mistakes again. And may we more often learn from each other's mistakes as well, so that way we continue making new mistakes. And in making new mistakes, we make new discoveries and we make new progress. We continue pushing the boundaries of ourselves as we expand out, not just physically, but in a mental and emotional way, expanding. And as we expand out into our spheres, if we want to, we can fill it with whatever we want to. If we want to add intention to it, we can, because we can. Or not. Up to you. There's benefits to it, so may as well take advantage of it. Why not? So there we go. Level 2, week 11, Elementally Intuitive Movement 101 on coffee. As we think about our spheres of awareness, as we are practicing our EIM as we've been practicing it. And then next, we will get to focus on level 3, which is now moving our spheres through space as we're paying attention to all this and continue to juggle all these balls that we're juggling. Yay, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and have a beautiful wherever you are. Thank you.